Hello, welcome to the Last Supper of Outcasts. I'm your host, Nancy Pelosi. Today is Monday, June 8th, 2026. Not that it matters. And today I wanted to continue along what is the main theme of the channel, and that is to convey things that I've witnessed, things that I have observed, whether it be in the past or currently, and how I believe that a lot of those observations and a lot of what I witnessed, how they correlate into what is happening uh, to the world today. And I know I'm not the only one that's recognizing that we're shifting into something extremely profound. I know it in reality myself when I drive Uber and I talk to the people that get in my car. A lot of people are recognizing it in reality, and then also obviously there's a lot of online discussion regarding the fact that people are recognizing that there is a profound shift happening to humanity. Uh, and today I wanted to talk about a recurring dream that I had that's never left me. This always comes back to me. I've never forgotten it. It was a dream I had when I was in my 20s. I'm almost 60, so I was right around 19 or 20 years old when this dream occurred and reoccurred and reoccurred and replayed, and I've never forgotten it. And that dream was about me uh, seeing a car that was driving with no driver in it. And in the dream, I remember when I witnessed that, it shocked me. I was shocked by it, and this dream didn't happen just once or twice. It happened over the course of several. I would say over the course of an entire year to a year and a half. It was relentless, and it has never left me in the 40 years since. I think about it virtually every day, especially since I'm reminded of it virtually every day by the fact that I live in Phoenix, and we have Waymos all over the place. They're everywhere. And so I'm reminded of that dream. And at the time that I had the dream, I really didn't know what it meant. Uh, I just remember that it really, every time I had just witnessing the car without a driver and the car actually driving and steering along, it just, it shocked me. It was frightening to me. And it kind of still is. It's almost as if the dream was more frightening than the reality. It's hard to explain, but and I'm not saying I'm a prophet. I'm not saying that I know anything. I don't know anything. I'll be the first to admit it. I don't know anything about really what's going on, but I do pay attention, and things that don't leave me for 40 years. I feel like at least I can. There has to be some kind of a importance to it, especially when it basically, in essence, has become reality. So then now we fast forward, and I've lived in Phoenix for almost 7 years. And when I first started, I started driving Uber about 4 years ago. I had a job at the time, but I wanted the extra income, so I started driving Uber part time. And I remember seeing the Waymo cars around 4 years ago. They were everywhere, but the thing was is that they all had drivers in them. So I'm sure, I'm probably that the drivers were. It has to be that the drivers were helping the car to map the Phoenix roadways, and and I believe Phoenix is one of the first ones to roll out these things. I think they have them pretty heavily in states like Texas too, and San Francisco. Um, and then one day, about probably maybe a year and a half after I saw really my first Waymo with the drivers. Every one of them had drivers. About a year and a half after witnessing them with the drivers, I saw my first one without a driver, and I did a double take, and that dream, that recurring dream I had almost 40 years ago, it came rushing back to me, and I'll tell you, when I first saw that car without the driver and it riding along on the roadway, it was making a turn on a very busy street, and just seeing it without a driver, it really it just shocked me. I was shocked, and I remember thinking to myself, and I said, well, here it is. And I don't even know what I meant by saying here it is, but something about that dream in combination with the actual witnessing of the dream becoming a reality, whether or not they're related, I don't know, but I'm just telling you what happened, and how I'm perceiving it. But the reality of the driverless car, uh, transitioning from a dream into an actual reality, it something in me says that here we are, meaning the shift is here, and the shift isn't that I'm referring to isn't just about, having to do with the fact that there's a driverless car running around here, causing all sorts of havoc. It's a shift that humanity is moving into something I believe deeply profound, and I am certain that a lot more of us than probably even care to admit are feeling it. I'm each day that passes, I'm becoming more and more certain that people are feeling it intuitively, that there is something coming. So that was one of those moments where, um, whatever we're shifting into, it's that Waymo moment of witnessing the driverless car in reality was a confirmation that we're here. The shift, we're in the shift. It's not coming. We're in it. It's here. And that goes back to the story I told yesterday about my best friend's ma telling me about the currency changing, and what that is going to indicate. So those are two small examples of things that I've experienced in reality and witnessed or observed and having a recurring dream that are translating into what is happening to us now. And and just a few little stories about the Waymo cars. I mean, people think there. A lot of people, I think, feel that these things are, they're they're infallible. They can't do any wrong. And there's been a few news stories and a few instances that I've experienced myself. And I think I had mentioned it on a previous video. But I was driving around here. I'm in Phoenix. I was driving in on the ASU campus about probably a month ago, and I'm very cautious because the drivers around here are nuts. Nobody is paying attention to what's going on, or But I actually expect more from the Waymos or the driverless cars than I do from the actual people that are actually driving the cars, driving automobiles themselves. But I was in a kind of a weird, twisty, windy, like a like a back street type of situation, and um, I came to an intersection, and I did not have a stop sign on my side of the intersection, but on the other ends there were not stop signs, but there was a stop, um, like it said stop on the pavement on both sides. My side did not have the painting of stop. So there was no red sign saying stop on the perpendicular side of the street that I was getting ready to cross in my car. But there was the painted word stop on the street. So even though I didn't have to stop, I at those types of situations I always stop anyway, because it's really just common sense, just knowing how the drivers are around here. But luckily I did stop, because the Waymo that was coming on it almost T-boned me, basically because it went right around probably like 30 miles an hour, and the speed limit there is 15 ish, and it did not stop. It didn't hesitate. It just went right through the intersection without a care in the world. And luckily, I did stop, and I saw it coming, and it surprised me because it was going so fast. I didn't see it at first, and I was getting ready to put my foot on the gas to get ready to go, and then I backed off because I saw this thing zooming, and it zoomed right through the intersection at a high rate of speed, and it didn't even flinch. It didn't put there was no slowing down, no braking, no nothing. It just went right through the intersection at the place where it was supposed to stop. So if I would have kept going, I would have gotten T-boned, and I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now. I'd probably still be either dead or in the hospital. Um, so that's one real life story that I have witnessed. And I'm not trying to put these things down. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. I almost do believe that they're probably better than human drivers. But the whole point of all of this is that there's a shift that we're in, and we're going through it. We're not going to go through it. We're in it. And there's another story that when these things malfunction, they have a tendency to stop in very inconvenient places. So that's happened to me too. I'm making a turn in a very busy intersection into like a shopping mall, and the thing is stopped right at the corner where all the cars are piling up. And there's two lanes, and there's cars turning into this place, and the Waymo's just stopped right at the tip of the intersection. So there's two lanes of traffic trying to turn in at the light, all at once. And in the meantime, this thing is just sitting there. At least it had its hazard lights on. But then the person that ends up behind the Waymo now has to fight their way over and basically risk their life to be able to get out of the traffic, because the light's going to turn, and then you're going to be in trouble from those people coming that way. So they have those cars, when they malfunction, they have a tendency to malfunction in pretty inconvenient spots. So there's another real life story. I've seen them run over pylons. I've seen them make turns in front of me, like, not even 50 feet away. I'm driving straight on the road, and they'll just pull right out, right in front of you. And these things are aggressive. They get up to speed right away. They don't mess around. And they'll get up to speed. They won't speed, but they'll get up to speed if it's a 40 mile per hour zone and they're coming from a stop. They'll get up to 40 miles an hour very fast. But they won't go faster than the 40 miles an hour, but they're aggressive, and they'll pull out, and even if it's slow, they'll pull right out in front of traffic, and it's pretty crazy. And then those are like my real life uh, adventures with Waymo. Another real life adventure I had with Waymo was I actually applied for a job at this place that I can't remember the name of it. But apparently, and this is kind of frightening to me too, is when a Waymo malfunctions, they have a human being that is apparently remote controlling the car either out of the way or trying to start it and get it into a better position so it's not in such an inconvenient area. And so when I applied for this job, they were looking for like people that were good at video games and things like that. So they had me take a test, and it was basically trying to see if you could time the traffic lights and not cause a lot of crashes and get the cars to move and not cause congestion, to let the cars go through, and the light would change and you would have to control the thing uh, through some kind of a computer circuit or whatever. And it was all remote control. I wasn't running the actual car. I was just taking the test. And uh, I mean, I failed, and I wouldn't have felt comfortable doing that anyway. So that's frightening to me to realize that there's there's a fallible human behind this remotely that is could possibly be running these cars, at least to get them out of the way. So that's frightening. And other than that, I'm sure you've heard the stories about the other day. There was a Waymo that was blocking. There was apparently a fire. I think it was an apartment fire. I can't remember, but I believe some people actually died. And apparently there was a Waymo that was blocking the fire trucks from getting to the actual emergency. So the one of the firemen had to get out and call the customer service agent or whatever, and try to figure out how to get the car out of the way. And it caused that caused all sorts of problems. That happened about a week or two ago, and that was on the news. Usually these stories don't get it to the news for obvious reasons. Um, and of course Waymo's excuse, their way to kind of get out of it was to say that the car was trying to make a 3-point turn to get out of the way, which I don't believe that at all. And then there's this story, I think it was in Georgia, in Atlanta, and I actually had a couple in my car that told me about it, and then I looked the story up later. And I think it was Atlanta where the Waymo drove right into floodwaters, and then it got stuck in the floodwaters. And luckily, I don't believe there were any people in there or any casualties. Uh, so there's that story. Um, and now today I read an article about how there's I guess Pepsi or PepsiCo has driverless trucks on the road now. They're starting to deliver apparently Doritos and some other stuff. So, but the point of this story is the shift that we are in. I don't know if it's a shift into a sort of a dystopia or if it's something else, but uh, the thing is that I guess another point of the story is our reliance on the technology, and I think we as humans have a tendency to think that these things are infallible. They can't make mistakes, and trust me, they can. I've seen it up close. Almost got killed by one, and that's pretty much it. So I'd like to hear your comments. I'd like to hear your thoughts. If any of you have experienced anything that you've witnessed or observed that seems strange at the time or seems too odd to be a coincidence, that's actually taking shape in our current reality. So I'd love to hear your comments, your thoughts. Um, and that's about it. So I would like to thank you for watching the video. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel. If there's a notification bell, there might not be because I'm just kind of getting started here. But if there is one, please hit the notification bell. And once again, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you soon, and I hope you all have a great night. Thanks again.